Anyway, Congressman Nunn, great to have you on the program. Thank you for your military service, and we appreciate your time. What do you, when you hear about a drone the size of a school bus or bigger, or the size of a dining room table, and it sounds like a Harley Davidson, do you believe in any way, shape, matter, or form that we don't know where these drones originated from, who's operating these drones, and what these drones might be capable of regarding either surveillance or maybe even having a military payload on them?
Sean, you've highlighted just a spectrum of threat vector coming in here. We know a couple of things right now. One, the overwhelming majority of drones come from DJT, which is a Chinese-made production facility in China, still has software tied to China. We also know that the indigenous capability of some of our greatest adversaries, that of Iran, which you highlighted, and just earlier this year sent hundreds of attack drones over Israel, over other countries, were able to be intercepted but had only one intent. The destruction of folks across Israel are real. We also recognize that the United States lags behind in our drone technology, and oftentimes even U.S. manufactured drones still have foreign software operation systems. Now, here's also what we know. We know we've got New Jersey State Police who were in a helicopter flying above a drone, and when they approached it, it was a large airborne vehicle that then turned off its lights and attempted to go as much as a drone can, stealth. But they had to disengage because they were afraid that there could be a mid-air mishap. We know for a fact that we have an entire Coast Guard cutter that was surrounded by a dozen-plus drones and followed throughout the sea off the coast of Jersey, and that when they came in and made their report, that it was substantiated by Homeland Security. We also know for a fact that Homeland Security felt so concerned about this that they briefed members of Congress and members of the government there in New Jersey, both law enforcement and elected officials. And as of today, we also know that the White House says there's nothing to see here. In the same way there was nothing to see about Joe Biden's cognitive decline, in the same way there was nothing to see that Afghanistan, a place where I served for decades, would fall apart overnight. And there was nothing to see when we left Americans behind in Afghanistan or when Israel was attacked. We're now supposed to take the word of John Kirby that there is nothing to see over the skies of New Jersey. And clearly, whether you ask law enforcement, whether you ask government, whether you ask kids on the Jersey Shore, they've all seen it with their own eyes. This is now a difficult challenge that we're forced to yet again believe that the White House knows better than what the American people have seen with their own eyes, and that they have dissuaded us from understanding what is happening, when you're absolutely right. This is something we should have been able to track down, be transparent about, and get the information out for safety reasons when this is flying over your house or your community to the people in New Jersey and the people of America in a matter of hours, not days, and now going on months.
Okay, so let me ask you, a drone this big, the size of a bus, what would its capability be? And more, as time goes on and they show a lack of urgency, why do I suspect they know exactly what these drones are doing, where they came from, they know everything about them, and maybe even they're the ones that are testing them? Is that a possibility?
So, as an intelligence officer and a member of Congress, let me be very clear about what we know, and I'll speak to that first. What we know is a drone of that size, and it's been reported that some of these may have been the size of an SUV, maybe even up to the size of a bus. I don't know what is flying over New Jersey right now because our federal agencies responsible for this, the FAA and Homeland Security, have not been transparent with us. But any platform that size, whether it's hovering, whether it's a fixed wing, which would mean like our version of a Predator drone, would be able to carry a payload, as we've seen just in U.S. operations over the Middle East, a Hellfire type of weapon, if that were to be included. But we've also seen what are, non-traditional actors like the Iranians, like the Chechens have done with drones. They've attached explosive ordnance and been able to use these as suicide-style drones that can go in, target a vector very quickly, and fly into it, cause an impact. This is also, at a minimum, a flight hazard. You're supposed to have an FAA license to be able to pilot a non-hobbyist drone, which is what the Homeland Security Department has told us. These are not hobbyist drones before they told us they didn't exist. And so a danger to flight operations in the area, whether you're a helicopter or a smaller light aircraft, also is directly impeded. I think the secondary, more likely scenario for drones in this situation would be for surveillance, both visual as well as electronic. And then certainly one of the things that I think is in the realm of the possible here as a professional assessment would be a mass testing of drones, and we haven't informed other sectors of the government. And that's equally concerning, that we have testing going on over U.S. territory that has not included potentially other key partners in the area for safety of flight, safety of civilians, and just safety of operations in open airspace. Any type of testing that should be done with a drone should be over a closed range where we have complete awareness of what else is happening in that airspace, and ideally in a situation where we're not putting the U.S. Civilians at risk in this type of an operation.
All right, quick break. We'll come back more with Congressman Zach Nunn of Iowa as we talk about the administration just flat out denying that these drones even exist in spite of all the eyewitness testimony we've heard and spottings that we've heard about and the videos and the pictures we've all seen. Pretty unbelievable. I think we're just flat out being lied to. Anyway, more with the congressman on the other side. Then we'll get to your calls and much more coming up. 800-941-SEAN as we continue.